So how you gonna do it?
I'm gonna trade my clerk for a Rockstar dame. I'd even get my brother to change his game. Cause we all just wanna work with top rock stars and sell some hilltop houses closing 15 more. The cities come easy and the closings go quick. We'll all stay busy cause we just don't quit.
Welcome to another episode of the Rockstar Closer podcast. We are back at HQ with my main man. Can I say my main man?
You might get in trouble.
My co-host. My co-host extraordinaire, Nicole Malcolm. What up?
What's up?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
And we got the man, the myth, the legend. I don't even know how we get this guy to sit still. I think we got to put one of these big things in front of him. He is Mr. Anthony Dicicco out of Keller Williams. How are you, buddy?
What's up, man? Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
Super excited.
So, honestly, just to give everyone like the setting, we're like 10:30 right now. And the two of us together, I feel like we don't even need coffee. We're just like feeding off that vibe, dude.
Listen, I don't drink coffee. I'm just naturally anxiety. I'm a walking panic attack. So I'm always on edge. Whatever's going on, whatever I got going on, it's an everyday life.
Doesn't that kind of go along with real estate anxiety? And
Listen,
real
I just
estate?
posted something this morning. It's like I lie about that everything's going to be okay. I tell myself everything's going to be okay. Right? And then at night, I'm calling the ambulance. Like last week, I was in the middle of the settlement, and I called 911.
Oh, my God. Dude.
Straight in front
Are you
of
being
the...
serious?
Right in front of the settlement. 100%. Actually, I got a picture of it.
Oh my God.
If we can post this. But yeah, I sent it to my daughter. I'm like, look.
Hold on. We're going to pause for a
Wow.
public service announcement.
Straight in settlement, in conversation with the client. Next, I thought I was.
Get out of here.
That was the.
What was it? Panic attack?
Panic attack. Yeah.
Are they frequent for you?
Depends.
Yeah.
It all depends.
Do you have them like every day, every
No.
week?
So that's the thing. Like, they usually I like walk myself through it or work myself through it, and then all of a sudden when it starts to really like come on, I'm like I start feeling myself ready to pass out.
Really?
And I'm like, oh my God.
Does it wake you up in the middle of the night?
It used to.
I get that.
It used to. It was bad.
Horrible.
Yep. And you wake up with the chills, and I'm like, oh my God, this
And
is
you
it.
don't know why.
Yeah.
It just like this overwhelming feeling just comes over you, and you're just like,
You know what it is? I put so much pressure on myself because it's like I have to maintain a certain way, and if I feel like that things are not going as planned, it really like eats away at me, and I'm just like, and everybody's like, just calm down. It's like you don't know what it feels like, right? They always tell you, just calm down. You need to no, that's not what it is. It's more than that, and it's me personally. It's how I'm built.
So does it getting worse as you're growing?
No, I just, sometimes like this year started off a little weird and I'm just like, what's going on? Because last year was fantastic. So this year, then everything started to pick back up. So I'm like, all right, cool. Everything's good. But then, you have these times where like deals are going sideways and I'm trying to like, when I'm not in control of the deal, that's when I start to feel like very anxious, and then it works out.
So how does that, I'm curious. So, because I've never done a deal with you. What does the transaction look like for you when you say in control of the deal?
Listen, like I'm always involved. Like I try to be as part of it as I can. I have 2 assistants now, which really do a fantastic job for me.
Is this the first year you've had those?
Yes.
Wow.
So Tyler started with me in November, I think. So he's in this over 6 months now. He's fantastic. He does a lot of my marketing. He's involved in my CRMs. We have 3 CRMs. We're working the old clients. We're working the new clients. We're trying to make this a well-oiled, run machine. And then I have Amanda, who's just, she's my like Xanax.
Yeah.
Because she knows I'm ready to snap, and she'll throw something. I'm just like, all right. I'm like, all right. So then I'll reset myself, and then I'll just, I'll say the right things. Right. But during the transaction, I like to be a part of it. I like to be involved. I like to call the mortgage if I'm on the buyer side. I like to see what's going on and make sure that everything's in play, make sure that deposits are there. And just, and sometimes it becomes a little bit of annoying to somebody else. But look, I'm just trying to get the deal done, right?
I'm that way too.
That's it.
I'm that way too. I'd be completely honest. I have a hard time having a processor because in essence, they're supposed to do all that back end work. But if I don't know where it is every day, I can't answer that. I have no idea.
Listen, the worst thing that can happen is when your client asks you what's going on and you don't have an answer for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I don't want to happen. So even on the seller side, like, I try to get things in order, and I can be a pain in the ass sometimes, and I'm sure there's agents out there that hate my guts. And I don't mean to be an asshole. I just am an aggressive type of person. I'm Italian.
Yeah.
Right? So
But I don't get the vibe that you are initially that way out of the gate. I get the vibe that you'll give out what you get. I just you're
right.
always a nice guy to me.
Listen, again, it's all about poking the bear, right? So it's
Yeah.
the approach. So that's just, I don't just wake up and say, who can I be an ass to,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
We're all trying to get to but there are some
But
other
that's a
agents.
distinction, though, because there are people like that.
Listen, and that's the thing. So
Yeah.
I think that they already have like this, they feel a way about me.
Yeah.
So when I'm in, they want to like act like they're the, the lion.
Yeah.
Right. And then try to test the patience. But look, we're all trying to get to the same place.
Yeah.
We're all trying to get to the settlement table smooth, make sure that their clients are happy, our clients are happy, and just, that's it. Get the deal done. Move on to the next.
Yeah.
What do you think your struggle is? Like, what do you think your top issue is in business?
I'm very hard on myself. I never give myself credit. I feel that I'm never doing enough. And it came from the car business, like, because I had a very, very Italian father who was like, you can make $1 million. And it was like, well, why do you make two? Right? So in the car business, like, we would make money and I would be like excited about it. And I would go to my, like, hey, we just made $3,000. He's like, well, how much did you lower the price? And I'm like, I don't know, 1,000. Well, you lost 1,000. Right? I'm like, no, we made 3. He goes, no, you lowered the price 1,000, so you could have made 4.
So the glass is half empty, not half full.
But I think that taught me to, in the Italian world, his mentality was, don't ever think you're doing too good. Don't ever think that things are so great that you can just kind of back off of it, because the rug will get pulled from underneath you within 3 seconds.
True, man.
And that really humbled me a lot. So now, think about it. I was getting a paycheck every week in the car business and still doing some real estate and still building some houses and doing all those things. When I went full-time in 2019, who knows? Who knew? Like, I wasn't doing 100 deals a year in 2019. I was maybe doing 15 or whatever the number was. And I had to make sure, and thank God that I learned so much from that business to how to close and follow up and do things because it became easier actually in the real estate world. Because remember, in the car business, trying to get somebody in to test drive a car, I don't know nothing about. I don't know what their credit is. I don't know nothing whatsoever. Just get them in and then hope to get them approved. Now they're there for a $30,000 Mercedes. They can't buy the tires on the Mercedes. So now I got to switch them to a Chevy Malibu, right? So after doing that so many times, it's like when you're in the real estate world, they come to you with the pre-approval. Here's the money, find me the house, right? So that was good. But then COVID hit, and it's still going on. It's extremely hard. So what is my biggest struggle? I think I'm my biggest enemy. I think that I feel that I'm just not good enough, and I feel that sometimes it gets to me and it gets in my head, and I struggle with that a lot.
Well, the battlefield's in the mind.
It is, and it's like I'm 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. I'm just, there's never a break, and I don't know. I'm trying to kind of like work my way to give myself some type of break, and sometimes you need to recharge.
Yeah. What do you do for recharge?
Well, actually, I started going to CrossFit twice a week. So they kick my ass. And did you ever go to CrossFit before?
No.
Did you ever go to CrossFit before?
I've done it. I've done it a few times, but I didn't go back.
Listen. There's
If you're watching this, I'm sorry.
listen to me. It's, you're up at 6:30 in the morning, you got to get there, and for the hour that's there, it seems like it's 3 hours.
Yeah.
They just beat the balls off you.
Yeah.
And that's good
You
for me.
try to win there too?
I can't win there. You got guys in there. I'm like the petite, like I'm like a female compared to what these guys are doing in there, right? They're like jumping on freaking bars and swinging around like they're a Navy SEAL, right? I'm in there with 5-pound weights. I'm like, yeah, this is great, So yeah, it's tough, but that helps, right? I used to play hockey a lot. I'd stop. I would love to get back to that.
I know some people that are in the hockey league that are,
It's amazing.
around your age.
Yeah, listen, I used to play at Grundy's, and I've been playing since I was 5 years old. So I love the sport because it's such a good workout. And then when you're done, you feel so like all your stress just goes away for that like 2 hours of play. And then now it's like family time. Like we're going to the Bahamas next week. So that I think I'm going to try. Like I'm still going to work. I always bring my laptop wherever I go.
What are you like on vacation?
I can be on the beach with a laptop
Yeah.
and a drink.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing better than that.
Yeah.
I think last year when I was at the
You have
Bahamas,
a big chain for the laptop?
I would love that. Actually, that's a good. I think that's a good idea. Actually, I'll wear like I'm
Flavor Flav.
Flavor Flav, like with the thing right on the front. I'll gold out the, But Listen, last year I was in the Bahamas. And
Yo, X-Stud, if you're watching this, that's what he wants for Christmas.
yeah, make him buck up, pay some shit. But no, listen, last year we went, it was a good time, and, I closed a deal with Ed Rogers on the beach, and I took a video. Awesome. Yeah, so it was pretty cool. Yeah, so that's cool. I look forward to doing that, hopefully.
Did your wife kill you, though? She said, get the hell off.
Listen, I tell you what, thank God that she understands the business and me and everything else, because I don't think any other woman will be able to put it.
It's hard, man.
That's so important to have your spouse behind you and supportive.
Oh, my God.
Listen,
so important.
There's it can be in the middle of dinner, and I'll get a phone call, and I'm like, listen, I got to go. It's like, she understands. So that's, without that, I don't think I would be as successful as I because she's there and she knows. And sometimes I feel bad because I leave Saturday, I'm going at like 9 o'clock, I'll come home at 5. And she's there with the kids all day long, running the show, running the house. And then Sunday comes along, it's the same thing. So definitely, big up to my wife.
Yeah.
Shout out to my wife for sure.
Do you have any like special things planned for her?
Yeah, so
you got to do some cool stuff. I feel like you're hopeless.
I'll tell you what. I used to be very romantic.
Yeah, I can see that about you.
But when you have 4 kids and 4
smell
dogs,
nice, you look good.
It's tough. And my wife deserves everything. Like yes, I do have something planned. I'm hoping to.
What's the most romantic thing you can remember doing for her?
I proposed to her on our way to get Chinese food. I was listen.
That's so romantic.
I was so nervous.
Was it the fortune cookie? Will you marry me?
Listen, it was like, Harry, would you like? It was like I'm driving and I turn it. I'm like, I don't know. It was just I was so nervous, and my idea was to take her to dinner, give the ring to the server, open it up, and the whole. But I think I'm gonna reenact that.
That's a good idea.
I think I'm going to reenact. I'll get her a new ring, a whole new thing, and then...
Same Chinese restaurant.
I don't know. I don't think, no. I think we're going to go out. I think maybe we'll go
to Budokan, baby.
I love Budokan.
I love Budokan.
Is that still around?
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
The place is the best. The edamame dumplings?
And the sugar cookies at the end were so amazing. Oh, my God.
Have you been?
You ever go?
I think maybe once.
Oh, God.
So good.
That was when I was a single.
We go to A1.
Yeah.
A1,
yeah. A1.
Yeah.
When I was single, that's right. I said, that was the big thing back then.
Yeah.
Taking the Budokan.
Can I tell you my secret? You remember the pod on Penn's campus?
Yeah.
That was like the original Asian fusion spot. Did I do this bit already before? No. Okay, he's shaking his head no. So I used to always take the dates to the same place because the theory is if the date sucked, the food was good.
Right.
It always worked
so you
out.
always win.
Yeah, I don't
so win-win,
care.
yeah.
I really don't care. I tuned her out halfway through. I'm still getting the same dish.
Yeah. Yeah. As long as you get catfished, because sometimes you don't see them, then you show up there. It's like, wait a minute.
That happened.
How many years you been married? 20?
It'll be 19 in July, and we've been together for 25 years.
Wow.
But on and things happen through the nature of it. But everybody has problems. What are you going to do?
How long have you been married?
33.
33 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
You take the cake.
That's a big one.
33 years.
Yeah.
But wait a minute. How old's your oldest child?
35.
All right. Mine's 29.
Yeah.
She got me beat there, too. Yeah. Okay.
But that's good. Listen, you guys have to do something right to get that,
You don't give up, right?
Yeah.
You don't give up. There's going to be hard times. There's going to be good times, and you just buckle through. And
Yeah.
Listen, that's the thing. My wife is very big. So my wife lost her entire family. She lost her mother. She lost her father. She lost her aunts. And all, they all died. Everybody just totally since 2017, everybody just passed away. So the only parent she has is my mom, because I lost my dad in 2016. So she's all about the family, and that's very big. Seeing that is very big for me.
That's awesome.
Because
you guys have 5 kids?
4 and a granddaughter.
4 and a granddaughter, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
So plus 4 dogs.
Yeah.
That's another pain.
oh my gosh, 4 dogs.
Oh, man.
Little ones, right?
Well, I got 3 little ones, and then all of a sudden, after my daughter got married in December, she brings home Rosie. Rosie's half lab, half German Shepherd.
Oh my God.
Nice.
Wait, lab and that's big.
That's a big bitch. Yes. Okay, she's just big. Okay, she lays on.
That's the technical term, isn't it, bitch?
She's a big bitch. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you ask
Female dog.
listen, my 4-year-old loves it. When you ask Alaska what a female dog is, she says bitch, and she loves that.
Yeah, there you go. That
makes her happy.
It's the correct term.
That's it. That's all.
Yeah, it really is. It makes sense. Okay.
Yep.
What are you tough on yourself? I never even asked you that.
Yes.
Are you?
I'm similar.
Yeah. Are you a perfectionist?
Yeah.
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 To a fault.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I got bad OCD, so that
I think everyone has that.
but you tend to lose some of it though when you have kids, because before, when I only had like 1 kid, I would like clean the house and paint the moldings and do all these things and now it's just like we get the house cleaned.
Yeah.
and they destroy it within
Yeah.
5 minutes. You're just
Yeah.
like, why even get it cleaned anymore?
I agree.
Well, I don't have any kids living with me anymore. So
Oh,
my
that's
house
great.
is like
Pristine.
so nice and clean and no messes until they come over and
Oh.
the grandkids come over.
Unless
and
my 4-year-old's
trash
gonna grow up soon, right? I got kids I'm stuck with for the next 20 years.
Well, you make it too good for them. You put it in the pool.
Well, yeah, my daughter lives in we built an in-law suite when I built my house. So my 20-year-old lives in there, so she thinks she has her own apartment. You know, yeah,
That's awesome.
I got news for you, bud. She's not moving out anytime soon.
Right?
no, they're not. It's crazy.
Well, I think at some point, because you are so crazy all week long, it probably gives you some peace to see all that stuff.
Listen, it's cool. You come home and she has a boyfriend. He's a nice kid, and I like him, and one of the best out of.
What's that like, trying to date Dicicco?
I'm an asshole when it comes to that because you know what I mean. Like I know it's temporary. Like for me, I was like it's a temporary thing, and like you hear them say, "I love you, babe." I'm like, you don't love anybody. Like shut up, just shut up. You know. But yeah, like
I'm gonna kill you. What did you say to my dog?
yeah. And then I get to like then my wife grabs me. She goes, you need to start being a little bit nicer. They're like nervous with being around. I'm like, well, they're supposed to be,
Yeah.
right?
They are supposed.
Yeah.
You're doing your job.
I said,
That's
look,
right.
when we were dating, I had to come in and meet your dad the first day.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, but then my dad was really nice to you and he bought you a TV for I'm like, all right, because we're Italian and we understood each other. These kids just,
Now, when did you guys talk, or was it like a bunch of
no,
hand
he
gestures?
just, well, yeah, so there's a lot of hand
He's
gestures.
trying to speak Italian.
And look, he was old school Italian. They grew up in the Bronx, right? They had a
So he's an Italian, plus that's the best accent.
yeah, he had the New York accent.
New York Italian is like nothing else.
So I was a little intimidated at first, but at the end of the day, he was an amazing father-in-law.
Gotti.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, so when me and my wife, broke up and we were dating, I tried to call or whatever the case is, and he answered the phone. He's like, "Listen, me and you broke bread, and it's over now. You just got to, I'm like, okay, all right, yeah, I guess so, But she couldn't stay away from me anyway. Who was she kidding back then? She couldn't stay away from me.
Oh my God.
So-
So you and I have done podcasts together before.
Yep.
And part of what we're trying to do here is to talk about your ascension, the way you do things, and you are an anomaly because of how quickly you succeeded in this business, right?
5 years.
And I'd really like to dive a little deeper into that. Obviously, we'll get back to the neuroses because that's part of it. But for people that don't know, you and you touched on it a little bit. So you started out part-time. You were doing the cars and the houses.
Yeah, so we were doing, so my brother was doing a lot of renovation and rehabs back, 20 years ago. And
That was the Chico Brothers, wasn't the name of that?
yeah, the Dicicco Brothers partnership.
Brothers, yeah.
So
Okay.
we were, so at the end of the day, I was like, well, I'll just get my real estate license. And let me tell you the real story. The real story why I really got my real estate license was because I came home and $1 Million Listing just started. And it was this little,
New York? Was it New York?
no, it was California. It was this little pipsqueak. He used to carry his dog around,
What was
right?
it? Madison? Not Madison.
No, it wasn't Madison. It was the dude. He had like dark long hair. I forget his
Now
name.
you're gonna
Brittany was talking about that.
Oh, yeah?
Brittany Lenchuk.
Yeah,
when
so
we talked to her.
The OG. No, she was into Sunset.
oh,
Sunset.
that's all
okay.
Yeah,
fake
this
bullshit.
is like
Okay.
$1 Million Listings. Probably what, like 09 or something.
Okay.
See, I love Frederick, and I
Frederick's
kind of
good.
Frederick's amazing, and Josh Altman's again, they're
Oh,
great,
yeah.
they're unbelievable.
He's the man.
But I was watching the show.
You ever meet those guys in person?
Me?
Yeah.
I would love to.
I think you and Altman would get along.
Oh my God, me and him would kill it.
Yeah.
We would kill it. Right there, 100%. Yeah, because he has the same personality, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
But I was watching it, and I'm like, looking at my wife, I'm like, this little dickhead can sell these houses. I'm like, I can do the same. I
Yeah.
can do the same.
Yeah.
So I text her. I'm like, I'm getting my real estate. She's like, you're nuts. You're nuts. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I took the course, but realistically, it worked out because when we did our flips, I was the agent on the other side, so we saved the other percentage.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now, do you think that you had as much anxiety and stress then as you do now?
Yes. Well, I've been having panic attacks. I'm an OG panic attacker. I've been having them for like 25 years before all this nonsense. When I was young, and when I broke up with one of my girlfriends, like it was just like it just started, right? So it was tough. So I knew how, and I remember because I had my apartment, and this is no lie. I used to literally go to the church. It was BVM Church on Welsh Road. I went to that grade school, and I would sit and sleep in the parking lot in front of the church, literally, and then, or I would go to because I already knew if you go to the hospital, you're there for 7 hours. So I would go to Nazareth Hospital in the parking lot, and I would just sleep there just in case I'm right by the hospital.
Yeah.
So I'll never forget. I was there for a week, right? And they did all these tests, and everything was cool. And they admitted me, and I was there for literally a week. So my mom picks me up, takes me home. She's like, "I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go grab you Wendy's." As soon as she left, I went right back to Nazareth. She came home. She didn't know because I didn't have my phone or nothing on me. She didn't know where the hell I went. I called her from the hospital.
Wow.
So yeah, it was tough. So look, then they tried to put me on medication. I don't do medication. I don't even take aspirin. I just don't do it. I just think that for me, I got to snap. I'm telling myself, you need to snap out of this shit. Like you can't keep doing this. You're gonna wind up. You're gonna kill yourself. So that was that. And then when I got my license, it was more for the flips. And then it turned into, hey, I have a friend that's looking to buy a house, or I have a friend that's looking to sell their house. So it was more of like a referral type of thing. So shit, I'm selling cars, I'm flipping houses, and I'm doing my 12, 15 deals a year on real estate. It was beautiful. Right. Then, things happened in 2008 where everything crashed. And we were doing, at one time in the dealership, we were doing 100 plus cars a month.
Wow.
Like so we used to put rims on cars. We were like, we were doing them up. And then that shit crashed. We went from selling 100 cars to like 5 cars.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
So I have like PTSD from this, from it, right? So then it started to get a little bit better. And eventually when my father passed away, we were on Frankfurt Avenue. Me and my brother were just like, you know what? We live up in Bucks County. What are we doing here? The people are stealing cars. The neighborhood wasn't going so well. So we sold it. And we moved to a warehouse, a big 20,000 square foot warehouse. And we were doing internet sales, like, shipping cars all over the United States. And then finally I said, you know what? I'm going full-time in real estate. Screw this. I'm done. And that's when I said, who am I going with? And that's when I went with Joe.
So out of the gate, when you start, because you have systems. I mean, you're full scale. Assistants, systems. Now, I'm saying when you're out of the gate, when you're getting going,
nothing.
What are you doing? Just
nothing.
Shaking trees?
My phone.
Yeah.
My phone
Calling
was
everyone and their mother.
like, there's like 1,000. I'm just texting, boom, boom. I kept going back and forth. Then I was brought on to Zillow, right? And
how early did you get into Zillow in your career?
2019.
So immediately.
So because when I went to with Joe and them, I'm thinking to myself, I'm looking at their numbers. I didn't think you can do that many deals in 1 year. So I'm like, oh, you guys, this is over like a course of the time? They're like, no, Joe just did 80 deals. I'm like, wow, how do I do that? Right? I'm thinking to myself now, I'm like starting to like, how am I getting there? Like there's got to be, if they're getting there, I'm getting there. There's no way I'm not getting there.
Right.
So,
Driven.
yeah, so I'm like, I'm definitely going to have this. So she's like, yeah, we were on Zillow. We get all these calls. So I meet with Xdot. I never met him before. We meet at Bertucci's. And I'm like, listen, I want to get on.
Bertucci's?
They shut it down though. It's called the bird cage or something like that, or the cage.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty good.
I like Bertucci's, but anyway.
I miss it. So we go there, and I'm like, listen, I want to get on Zillow, and he's like, look, I don't know who you are, I don't know what you're capable of. He's like, I'll give you $500 budget. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know what
everyone does.
Yeah, like I don't know.
I'll split 10 grand with you. Okay.
yeah, right. So I don't know. I know nothing about it.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
Our perspective, just so you know, historically, it hasn't gone well for lenders. They used to have this thing called long form,
right,
where they would send us the deal. I paid $1,000 for 20 of these, 19 of them. Why are you calling me?
Yeah.
My credit sucks.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I just paid $900 for 19 crappy leads.
That don't even know you're calling. Yeah. No, but that's the beauty with Zillow. They vet them so they know.
Yeah.
So they connect you.
Long form, but yeah.
they connect you. So I'm like, all right, fine. I'll take the 5, and I put $1,500 of my own money up. It was $2,000 budget, so I had a one zip code at the time, and I started getting calls, and I started closing deals. So then Andrew's like, I said, yeah, bitch. Okay. You misjudged me. I said, so then it started to climb. It started to go from 2,000 to 3,000 to 4,000. I think we're spending 13,000 now on that stuff. And look, a lot of people are going to say that's a waste of money.
No, you know how to convert.
If you can't convert, then don't go on Zillow.
It's not a wait. Listen, here's the most important message in all of that. You need to do stuff like that to get to that level. You just have to have the balls.
You got to have balls. And listen.
Take risk.
You got to take the risk. And the other thing is, too, like, if you don't know how to follow, like, people follow up, like, 2 times or 3 times, like, oh, this lead sucks. Yeah. I will pepper you. I will Stage 3 cling you. I will definitely call you. I swear to God. And then I'll hit you.
I'm the worst girlfriend you've ever had.
Yeah, don't fuck. You can't. So when I show people that, they're like, "You're nuts. You're nuts." No, I will question mark the text.
Yeah.
I'll copy and paste the text. I'll say, "Hey, I seen you read my like." I'll say that stuff, and they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry I didn't get back to you. I was whatever the case is." And I tell the same story all the time, and people don't think they're like, "No, that's too arrogant. You're too pushy." Okay, well, here's my numbers. Here's your numbers. The proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
It's what it is. But that's one aspect of the business.
Sure.
People don't understand the whole thing. If you don't have systems in place, if you don't have I got to be the dumbest one because I've been through a lot of clients and I never reached out to my old clients.
Yeah.
So then when I started doing it, I really almost had a heart attack because I'm like, oh my God, they sold their house. They bought a house. Like if I would have just followed up with them, I would have got back in touch with them. So now I'm like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Now it's go time. Now I'm like, all right, listen, we're going to get, so my top producer that we use on the CRM, when Zillow leads come through, it goes right there, and then they send them 5 emails in 50 minutes. And they keep sending them market updates on that. I don't even touch the damn thing. Then we go to Constant Contact. So I have Constant Contact. We do like...
Who's the initial? What do you use on the initial?
Like you got to use Command, but...
You use Command, yeah.
You got to pay. The only reason why I use it is because we have to pay for it.
Right, yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't even use it.
Yeah.
But
do you do it with a virtual assistant, or is it
no?
Command?
So I tried the virtual assistant. Somebody in Indonesia. I was lucky I didn't get on a flight and wring their neck. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I called her in a lie. She's like, "Oh no," and then she takes a screenshot of the thing, and it was like, well, "You said you weren't working. Like, what are you talking about?" Like it was a total palm job.
Yeah.
But now having the 2 assistants. So that's the thing. Like to become heavy in the business.
Yeah.
You need to touch your old clients. That's probably your biggest asset. 100%. Zillow, what Zillow does is it keeps your phone ringing.
Right.
Right. So when you are in that slower moment, at least your phone will ring,
Right.
and then you'll be able to get some call, maybe close 1 or 2 of those.
Right. That makes
But
sense.
then you got to do your branding, and then you got to, like, I have a digital marketing company. I have a website that I spent $30,000 on. Right. I mean, there's so much things that I've done that help the business, and that's where I'm like, well, I'm doing all this shit. I should be doing 300 deals a year, right? So that's where I start to get in my head.
But it's all an evolution of time. I think the hardest part that I think in general is taking the initial steps and investment because you're not going to see it for a while. And you may not see it for a year or 2 years. I did it myself. I have, my company does their own stuff, but outside of my company, I have my own autonomy. I do that on purpose. No one knows who I work for. I don't care. Sorry, Jim. But the reality is, like, I spend the money too because it takes a while, but eventually I'll get 3, 4, 5 organic leads just from reviews.
True.
Because I'm just every closing a lead. It took 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah.
But it's worth it because it to your point, if Zillow's slow, that picks up. If that's slow, an old referral comes in.
That's correct.
You have to have all of that. How are you going to get to triple-digit deals if you don't have it all on full force?
Listen, that's in the reviews. I tell that to everybody. It's so important to have a Google My Business and a Google review because that's like your report card. Believe me, how many people call me and they're like, "I seen your reviews on Zillow," or "I seen your," and I have over 100 now. Thank God.
Yeah.
But so that's the other thing. So they'll send a message to their client, "Hey, can you leave a review?" And they don't do it. So like, well, I feel weird. Fuck. Hey, you didn't do the review. When can you do it?
Yeah.
Right? And but now let me tell you another thing. We got ChatGPT. So my arrogant messages where they're like run-on sentences and not punctuated, that ChatGPT puts them in a perfect response.
Did
It's
you name
freaking
your
amazing.
bot?
Oh, you can name the bot?
You can name the bot.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can name it.
Oh.
You can give it an Italian name.
I'm gonna name it Guido. Yeah, but ChatGPT. Listen, I incorporated that into our systems, and that's amazing for your listing listing descriptions, responses that it's just a good system to have, I think.
What is your thought on AI taking over the real estate industry? There's some talk about, real estate agents are going to go by the wayside and AI is just taking over everything.
I think everybody's a conspiracy theorist. It's just like, think about it. How's a bot going to show you a house? It's the same thing with Zillow. Listen, I'm a conspiracy theorist too. Like I start thinking that, but at the end of the day,
text me every once in a while, like, what do you think of this? Come on, Nicole.
Look, at the end of the day, do I think it's going to impact the business? It will, right? In some aspects, it will. But if you know how to use it, right? You can use it to your advantage.
Absolutely.
That's how I feel.
Absolutely.
And you need to listen, as things start to change, you need to start changing.
Yeah.
Because whatever you were used to last year ain't happening this year.
Absolutely.
That's just, so my mind is always on, all right, what's the next move? How am I going to start doing this? So that's why I'm always thinking. And then I drive my assistants nuts because I'll text them at 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, you guys, I wanted to jump. We need to do this, 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 and this. And they're like, it's 11 o'clock at night. You know, and then Amanda will send me a dick pic or some just to shut up. Just shut your mouth.
Just to calm you down.
Yeah,
You have an
just-
anxiety
Just
attack.
shut
dick
your
pic.
mouth. You know? But listen, I think that's great to have that. We bounce off each other very well.
Yeah.
You know?
I was just going to comment on that. You know, it's funny, whether you're doing it intentionally or not, you're doing all the right things.
Yeah.
Like you're implementing technology, you're bringing on personnel to help you scale. I mean, you could have very easily not have done any of this. And my question is, why? What's the goal? Where are you going? Is it to bring on more and to grow larger, or are you doing more for yourself? Is it both?
I think I want a mastermind for me. I did have a big team from the door when I went to Keller. And sometimes, look, I don't want to be a babysitter. I just don't. I don't have the time to babysit. I don't want to babysit. It's either shit or get off the pot with me. That's just how I've run business. It's like here, if you're here and you want to be on this team, then let's start moving.
Right.
Right. I want to see production. I want to start seeing you like trying to do things. They'll jump on they'll tell you all the right things.
Right.
Oh, I'm going to do this and do that.
course.
And next year, like, well, wait a minute, you didn't close the deal in 90 days. What's going on? Do you have any buyers? Do you have any sellers?
Yeah.
You know, well, I don't have the money you have. That's what they say. Well, I start off with $500 from Andrew
exactly.
Exstott.
Exactly.
You know?
Must be nice.
That's if you tell me it must be nice, you're
I
going to
hate
get with a
that.
sledgehammer.
That's like the worst saying ever.
When someone says that to me, I'm like, it must be nice. Yeah, it must be nice to sit on your ass and do nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, because I don't.
It's true.
Yeah.
You know,
Listen, at the end of the day, that comment comes from
jealousy.
Jealousy,
it's jealousy
100%.
and it's
Yeah.
the lack. What I think the overall thing is, it's the lack of understanding of the work required.
Yeah.
Right, and the courage, and it's everything. It is absolutely everything is on the line every single time, and that is a risk.
Listen, it's very important to make sure that you have systems in your business. I tell every agent that. I mean, people do come to me for advice, and I love to help people. I really do. Look, I'm not the monster everybody thinks that I am. Like they're.
I don't think you're a monster.
No, listen, but you know me.
I
Listen,
know monsters. You're not a monster.
listen, some people really think the worst of me, and I get it because of the deal that we were in. Maybe I was a little too aggressive, right? But at the end of the day, it's
Give us an example. I want to know.
you know, someone will call me like for instance, like I don't have the mortgage commitment on the day on the agreement.
Yeah.
So now it's like 5 days later and they're not answering me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, we need the mortgage commitment. Like, what's going on? I called your lender. If that, I'm canceling the deal. Like, I'll do that. And they're like, you know, you don't have to be so nasty. And I'm like, but I'm not.
But you want to know why you're that way, and it's not you being nasty. It's because you expect that in your business, and that is how you run fluid, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to be completely honest. There's no excuse.
There's
to have
not.
that. There's no excuse, and that's not you being a dick. It's not. It's actually you acting at a high level.
Listen, that's, again, when I have the buyer side, and Andrew will tell you all day long, I'm like, yo, where's mortgage?
Yeah, of course.
And if there's an issue, and then you find out there's an issue. We had to add on the brother or the mother. When were you going to tell me that? Right? You can't just add things on.
Yeah.
Or we're switching lenders. Or it was conventional and it went to FHA. I don't care what it is. Just tell me.
Yeah, exactly.
Communicate.
I just don't care. Look, it happens. Sometimes they're approved conventionally, then it goes through underwriting, and the next you know, like, hey, you got to go FHA. So people have a stigma of FHA.
Yeah, I don't know why. Don't look at me, man.
The money comes from the same place.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. FHA, VA, PA, FA, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
What lender or what, well, the lender counts.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You're not going to use Rocket Mortgage or them
Yeah.
onliners because they just, especially Bank of America.
Yeah.
They should
Horrible.
they should
Preach,
just
my man.
they should just get a Scud missile and go right through and just take them out because they're horrible.
Yeah, oh,
You
it's the
know,
worst
and it's
thing
bad
ever.
it's bad for the client. I had a client that was settling on a deal. She had her car loan through Bank of America. They have all her financials. The day before settlement, they declined her loan. She's already moved out of her apartment. She has 2 U-Haul trucks staying at her friend's house, and she's moving from North Jersey to Leavitt or Langhorne.
That's horrible.
And Andrew, I gave it to Andrew. 2 weeks, 14 days done.
Yeah.
So
Sad, isn't it?
your lender matters.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Oh, 100%. Dude.
1,000%.
And your title company matters.
1,000%.
Okay, that's a big thing, and that's another part of the deal. You know, people just don't understand what, like, look, I get it. Everybody has to take their choice. There ain't no choice.
Yeah.
You stay over there, get your mortgage done. Let me handle the internal parts of it, and let me go run it through who I got to run it through.
Well, I think the important part to understand is your recommendations mean something, right? When you say to your clients, "This is who I recommend," it's because guess what? This is how it's going to get done.
Yeah.
Period. Right? And I tell everyone this all the time. I don't know you. I've never. That's fine. Look me up. I'm in house with Mark Gatta. I cannot mess up a deal. I'm going to repeat that. I cannot mess up a deal. I tell everyone this story. You know how Mark Gatta and I got in the business? My second deal, we go to the table. Prorations are up by $1,000.
Oh my God.
Prorations weren't my fault. They weren't my fault. I looked at Mark and said, "Don't worry about it." He's like, "Why? I'm going to eat it." He said, "You're going to eat it?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to eat it. Are we doing another deal?" So I ate the $1,000.
That's how you get business.
That's it.
Yeah.
That is how
That's
you get.
it.
Going
you
above
take,
and beyond.
Even though it's not your fault, you take
That's accountability.
take it on the chin, and that's over.
Absolutely.
For sure. Listen, it's very important. For me, when I meet a buyer, when I meet a seller, I'm a full service agent.
Yep.
I do it whatever it takes.
Yep.
I pay for shit. I pay for UNOs. I pay for whatever I got to do to make it less aggravating for my client.
Yep.
That's how I present myself when I go there. And when I have buyers, because of my construction background, I tell them this house is a piece of shit. Mm-hmm. Straight up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the kitchen, forget the kitchen. I'll put any kitchen you want in the next house. This house is no good. And I tell them straight up, and that's why I gain trust from that.
And then what happens when they say they still want to do it?
I make them sign a waiver. Because you're not going to come back to me 6 months and say, "Hey, I bought this house." I said, "Well, I told you. You didn't listen to me, but you want to listen because you like the kitchen."
Yeah.
Have you had any people come back, and I think it's still happening, but for a long time, people are buying houses without inspections. Have you had anybody come back and say, "No"?
That's a good question.
Right? I mean,
that's a good question.
That's always my fear of people coming back and having all these issues that.
So here's the deal. Ready? When they waive inspections, I explain to them what can happen. So this is no joke. I'm like, guys, look, I will never tell you, and you can ask every single one of my buyers, never did I say, "Hey, 5 other agents waive the inspections, you need to do that." I don't say that. Look, if you want to put the inspection on there, put the inspection on there. If it happens, if it goes through, it goes through. It's in God's hands.
Yeah.
More of the story is, I tell them, if you waive the inspections, what are the risks? The risks are if there's things that were not disclosed or you can't see with your own eye, there could be issues. It can cause some serious problems for you in the next 6 months. So you got to be comfortable with doing that. And they're like, "Hey, listen, we really want the house." Okay, fine. But I will go there and I'll tell them windows are no good, roof is no good, air conditioning system is 20 years old, hot water tank is at life, and then you can always look for floods in basements because I always look in closets where the sheetrock is and you can see the jagged edges if there was any flooding down there. And then you go back to the seller's disclosure and it says no floods. Well, there was a flood because there's water there.
Of course.
So the goal is
Well, they always say that to the best of my knowledge, right? That's what they always do, that BS. "Oh, to the best of my knowledge." Well, you didn't go in the basement in the past 5 days, have you?
No, well, listen, I get it. And look, there's things that are going to be there and they're not going to be this. But more of the story is I make sure that I point out everything to the buyer.
Absolutely.
And make sure. And I always say, "Are you comfortable with this? Are you okay?" I mean, because that's, for me, I don't want to have any issues. And sometimes you have no control over the issues. I had a client that bought a house in Ben Salem, and I told her, I'm like, "There's an easement back here." She wanted to put a pool. I said, "I'll go to the township for you. I'll go to the engineer. I'll do everything I can to see what can be done here." And she couldn't put the pool where she wanted. She had to put it over here, 10 feet away from the easement. So she's like, "No, don't worry about it. I don't care about the pool. I just want to move forward with settlement." Okay. 9 months later, I get a letter from an attorney stating they want $80,000 because I told her that she can put a pool when she couldn't put a pool. So I go right into my zip forms. I print out the addendum. She signed off that she acknowledges the fact that she cannot put a pool within the area she wants to put. I send it to the attorney. I haven't heard from back from ever again.
Unbelievable.
So things do happen.
People have selective memory.
She had very selective memory. And the beauty of it is I was with her for 2.5 years. Told her, I talked her out of plenty of houses. We gained a very good trust, and at the end of the day, this is what people do. It's just the kind of business that we're in.
Yep.
So that's the thing. Look, the only advice I can give to any agents is you have to really, and the biggest thing for me is you have to be in your office. Working from home and all that bullshit doesn't work. It'll never work for you. Because guess what? See, when you're at home, there's so many distractions. There's a couch right there. There's a bed right there. Just sit down.
Especially in your home.
Yeah, I got the dogs, I got the pool, you know, but
God knows what could be going by.
you got to go to the office. You got to go to the office every single day. And if there's nothing to do, find something to do. You can cold call, you can do postcards, you can get letters. I just bought I leased it, a big copier, and then we're getting this thing to attach to it where it actually packages the letters.
Oh,
I think
cool.
it's 200 at a time.
Oh, wow.
It puts it inside the.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we chat GPT'd our personal letters.
That's awesome.
And then we send them out along with postcards, along with, every quarter we'd send out 5,000 to 10,000 postcards for farming, and then just souls, these are the things you could be doing in your office.
All right, well, let me ask you this. Let's say someone doesn't have the money, right? Because that's expensive. Where would you have them start?
You could do letters. That would be your most inexpensive thing.
First place.
Yeah, pick a develop. So the other thing with that is doing it one time.
No, yeah.
You got to be. It takes at least 13 months to get a call. So unless they really want to sell, you might get lucky. But pick a development and just hit them every time, just so your face gets there. Maybe go door knock. Maybe go put those things on the doorknobs, like the hangers, the door hangers. Do something like that. These are things that you can do that are inexpensive things.
So let's do a rundown. So you do mailers, right? You do what else? You got
Letters.
the Zillow. You do client appreciation.
Oh yeah. So every year in October we go to Shady Brook Farms. We rent out the whole back, and then we have 200 to 300 people show up, and they
That's
love it
amazing.
because their grandkids come,
Yeah,
their kids,
that's awesome.
and that's a really and by last year, from that I got 4 on that day, 4 referrals that day.
So you do all these things, and I would say you do what? What are you, 100 deals plus a year now? Average. And then for whatever the revenue is, what do you spend? 6 figures on this stuff a year?
Oh yeah, with payroll and everything, you're
Yeah.
probably a few $100,000.
So I'm only putting that into perspective for people that don't realize the investment.
Okay, well,
Get
all
to
right.
that
So
level.
let's go back to that. So where did I start? I mean,
Yeah.
look, when I started, I didn't spend hundreds of thousands of dollars.
No,
I didn't have
I'm
it.
just saying to get to the level you're at. That's what I'm
So
saying.
you're number one, you got to have the mindset,
Yeah.
and number two, if you're a new agent, you should shadow somebody who does business because they will teach
That
you.
is phenomenal advice.
Yeah.
That is
Seriously,
phenomenal advice.
listen. How many people?
You're right.
I'm not doing an open house. It's a waste of time. Really?
Yeah.
Guess what? Last week I did an open house in my worm. It went on the market that day. I had 15 families through. One person coming from Conshohocken who's ready to buy a $600,000 house has no agent, and guess who has the agent?
That's awesome.
She got an agent now.
Yeah.
That wasn't a waste. And I sold the house the same day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So doing open houses, finding someone that does business is a very big thing to do when you get your license. Or even if you have your license for 5 years and you're only doing a few deals.
Right.
Follow the leader.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And I think, and another point you're bringing up, I think everyone hits it at different times. You know what I'm saying? I think you got to understand that it's going to come at certain, and then as they grow, if you want to grow, more things. If you don't do more things, you're not going to grow.
Yeah.
Once you start to grow and you start to see results, you'll start to want to do more things. You can
Yeah.
put money in certain different areas.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, it just to me, it's the tried and true thing, because I think out of every profession, because they've made real estate look so sexy in the media, that it's such a misperceived thing that it's just, I can step in, I can side hustle, I can sell X homes, I can make 6 figures. Man, is that wrong?
Listen, and then that NAR thing kicked in, and then people they're going to listings and say you don't got to pay the buyer's agent.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
wrong.
that's crazy.
It's just wrong stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
It just be free market. You negotiate what you negotiate. That's
If you
like-
explain to the seller the correct way, they will always pay. It's 100%.
Yep.
Okay.
100%.
So
Yeah. So I guess the only last part of this that I want to figure out from you is you're on a crazy train, for lack of a better term. We all are.
Listen,
We're all on this.
I
crazy
lost
train.
my mind years
You're
ago.
on a crazy train.
Listen.
I'm on a crazy train. Where are you getting off, bro?
That's a great question.
I think if I stopped, I would probably grow old and I don't know.
That'd be it.
That would be it. I think that would be the end of the story.
I'll never retire.
Yeah, how can you
Never.
retire? I mean, listen, I love the business. I really do love this business. I love it because I love helping people. I love the fact of building relationships. I love that people I sold a house to an older woman who moved to India, and now she's back and she wants me to take her to dinner. Like, things like that mean so much and go so far, because that shows me that I helped her and we formed a relationship. She's like 82 years old. She's just an amazing woman. She was a doctor for 50 some years. She lost her husband, and then she went back to India and built hospitals
Wow.
in her husband's name, and she's back this week, and she's like, "I would love to see you and go." I mean, it's those are the things that make you love this business more. Look, the money's one thing, but the relationships mean so much more than anything to me.
Yeah, and if you're focused on that, the money will come.
1,000%.
Yeah, that makes
100%.
total sense. Did I cut you off or anything else?
No.
I can't. She can't shut me up.
No,
dude.
it's all good.
Well, listen, man, it's always a pleasure. We love hearing your story. We want to see you keep rising, man. You're fun. Like I love having these talks.
See, I ain't that bad. So I'm glad everybody can. Hopefully, they can see this and see that I'm not that.
Dude.
I'm not so stuck up like they think I am.
I just think, and it's funny, like, and this was the last thing I wanted to say about you is that you treat this like a true profession, right? And I think that's the one thing that people need to understand. No matter who you look at, the Fredericks or the Sirhans or even you, right? Or the Gattas or any of these other big producers, it's a true profession,
It is.
right? Your focus is 100%. You're 100% in. And until you get to that level, stop hating, man. Like,
Listen. Forget the hate. Let's do deals together.
yeah, or that. There you go. Well, that's part of the shtick. I like
Yeah,
that.
let's do deals. Let's do a deal. You know,
You don't have to hate me. Let's just do deals.
that's it. That's it. And then we'll become friends after that.
You've just watched another edition of the Rockstar Closers podcast with my man, Anthony Dicicco. Watch out soon. Follow us at Rockstar Closers, YouTube, Facebook, and all your socials. We'll see you guys again soon.
Have a good one.
How you gonna do it?
I'm gonna trade my clerk for a rockstar dame. I'd even get my brother to change his game. Cause we all just wanna work with title rock stars and sell some hilltop houses closing 15 more. The cities come easy and the closings go quick. We'll all stay busy cause we just don't quit and we'll